learn Brett Patterson.
A university professor one time went to visit a Zen master up in the highlands of Tibet or wherever Zen masters happen to hide out. And the Zen master welcomed him in and began pouring tea. And as he was serving the tea, this university professor just went on and on and on about what he knows about Zen and about how excited he is to learn more because he knows so much and this is how it's going to work, and couldn't wait to get started. All the while, the Zen master continued just pouring tea to the brim of the cup till the tea started flowing over the edge. The university professor noticed this and goes, hey, what are you doing? It's spilling everywhere. You're making a mess. The Zen master says, you are like this cup. How can you learn Zen if you first don't empty your cup? And that's where I would like for everybody to start today. Empty your cups about what you know about learning. And let me take you on a little journey about some of the things that I do that really help me learn. I've noticed that most of the stuff I've learned in my life, I didn't learn in school. Oh yeah, I got educated. I got taught all kinds of different subjects, shoved down my throat, and I paid enough attention to pass all my classes and get out of it. But what I really learned, I did on my own. I've also taught a lot. I've taught swimming, I've taught first aid, CPR, I've taught computer skills to people. I've been teaching for a long, long time. I enjoy doing it. And what I've noticed is that my students, when they learn something, they've learned it on their own. I didn't. I may have given them tools. I may have given them some information. But if they learned it, they did it on their own. It was something that they wanted to do. And that's the first step in learning something, is you have to find something you can get fascinated about. Something you really, really, really want to learn. How many of you wanted to learn microeconomics? Yeah, me too, Ron. So I knew it was going to be one that maybe one person raise their hand. How many of you wanted to learn differential calculus? Yeah, it's not. Yeah, there's always one. There's always one. But if you don't really want to learn it, you don't get fascinated about it. And if you're not fascinated about it, it becomes a chore. And then you don't truly learn it. Once you find that topic that you're fascinated about, pour yourself into it. I mean, everything. Read everything you can. Soak it all up. Don't just go to one website, read about, oh look, I know everything there is to know about American politics because I went to one website. No, there's so much to learn. Soak it in. Pour yourself into it. One of the biggest keys I've found to learning is that you can't really learn what you're reading about until you actually do it. Who's learned a foreign language? I mean, learned a foreign language. Yeah, I can study books all day long, and I can have a huge vocabulary of words from various languages. But until I actually start speaking it, having conversations with people, I'm not going to learn it. I write computer code for a living. Done it for years. I can read books about coding all day long. But until I sit down at a keyboard and I start writing code, I don't learn anything. So do it. Put it into practice. Play. Learning should be fun. When I taught swimming, I didn't teach technical aspects of every stroke. Here's how you swim freestyle. You know, arm goes in the water here, it knifes forward, you pull back all the way through. The kids aren't going to learn that. So I turned it into games. And every day was a new game we played. And by the end of that swimming lesson, by the end of that session, these kids were swimming with some of the best strokes I've seen, and I've been a competitive swimmer for years. But they learned it because they were playing and they were having fun. Feel free to move around too. You start in on one topic, And when that topic starts to, you're not fascinated about it anymore, move on. Let yourself go where your mind wants to take you. You want to learn something? Follow it. Till that passion reignites, and then go back. Because it does take months or years to really, really learn something deeply. So keep at it, but keep fascinated about it. You have to continually test yourself too. As you learn something, you have to reflect on it and test yourself on it. It's even better when you can test yourself through a game. If you're playing, that can be your test. And then you know if you've truly learned what you're trying to. One of the other things about learning, feel free to disagree. When you read something, develop your own theories as you're learning a topic. Disagree with what you just read. It doesn't have to be blatant disagreement for the sake of disagreeing. But when you disagree, you start to question things. Maybe you're wrong. You have to be free to admit to yourself that you're wrong and that what you're learning is right. But when you disagree, you dig deeper and deeper into that subject to find out if you were right or not. Really want to learn something? Teach it to someone else. You don't even have to be an expert at it to start teaching somebody. All you got to do is learn that one little thing and go teach it to somebody. Now they know that one little thing. Then you can come back tomorrow when you've learned something different about it and teach them that. Reflect on your learning. After you learn something, reflect on it. Maybe write about it. Write it down. It helps you synthesize and organize all of that learning. And it helps you remember it much, much better. There's an author, Lloyd Alexander, and he has a quote I'm going to share with you because it's so very, very true. And that is that we learn more by looking for the answer to a question and not finding it than we do from hearing the answer itself.